As we seem to be back, we had some technical difficulties. Irma's wrist now up to P3.
And Irma is desperately trying to get past Jap, but Jap is defending wonderfully for 2-3 laps here now.
Irma's strong point really seems to be breaking into the corkscrew, because he just gained so much time on Yap there.
Yeah, it's the battle behind them as well in 4th and 5th goes on as well. Hughes just overtook Venterland.
Irma's trying an overtake on Yap, but it's not quite working out for him.
We'll see, maybe he might manage to get it over the start finish. But I gotta say, Jap is defending really wonderful.
Bit of oversteer coming out of turn 11.
Here we go,
He's
he
really
gets the
close now, though.
slipstream. Yeah, he gets the slipstream, but I have it.
Chooses the outside,
Ooh, gets very close.
looking to make that switch back on him. Can't
Oh.
quite steer it enough.
Really closing the door there. As down in 9th position, Trout overtakes Potapenko.
Oh, we had a touch.
Ooh, as Yap is off the track. That's gonna be some controversy there. As it seems like Yap is also stuck in the dirt. He's desperately trying to get away, but his wheels are just spinning. Doesn't get anywhere. He's stranded. That's probably it for Yap there.
As Hughes just had massive oversteer coming out of the corkscrew, allowing Irma's back into P2.
And now Ormaz has a clear track in front of him, trying to catch up to Oscar, who is just 13 seconds in front, and I believe that will gonna be very. We have position for the race for third position, though. It's gonna get closer.
One small mistake from Hughes, and he went from P2 down to P6.
Yeah, and that just shows how close the race here is. It's beautiful to see. As we have Yap still stuck in the dirt, and it seems like he finally gave up, no longer trying to get off. As we see him standing
As Irmas
there.
is pulling away from Martin.
And it seems like Martin as well is pulling away from 4th position of Arto there. Seems like our third.
Irmas gets oversteer coming out of corner on Rommel Straight.
And Martin is closing fast into the corkscrew. We will be able to give it
a little bit too far back to make a move.
It's not over yet though. Urmas seem to make small mistakes here and there now. So sooner or later, maybe Martin will have a small chance here.
Always seems to be fighting for that last bit of extra acceleration out of a corner. He's already pulled a gap of 8 tenths from Van Lan.
Yeah, but again he makes
in turn 1.
Again, Oversteer keeps making small mistakes here and there. It's might gonna cost him that second position, maybe even podium, if he keeps on doing that. Sooner or later, he's gonna do something too big that he won't be able to handle.
As we have a car in the gravel in front.
And as Ormas coming up to Nils here, yeah. Hopefully Nils will stay out of the way for the cars on the lead lap here. Oscar is still in front by 14 seconds with around 3 minutes to go, so I do believe he got that first position secured.
Also still has the fastest lap time of 1:13.6. Still 2 tenths faster than fastest lap of Irmas.
But we see here now also Martin seems to be pulling away from Arto Nieminen there. So currently no too close battle, but we see here the whole field down to 4th, 5th. It's very close. So again, a small mistake. If Orma keeps making these mistakes and he makes one too big, he can drop down to 7th really, if he doesn't get back quick.
Also, every little moment of oversteer is going to heat up those rear tires a lot and make it a lot more harder
As we
for
see
him to
him
keep
wiggle
on track.
again there, he had a bit of oversteer again. So Urma's probably fighting really hard. Probably used a lot of tire fighting his way through the field. And now he's just pushing too hard with those worn tires. As Potapenko there makes an over, as Trout actually has made a mistake and is now off the in one of the finishing corners. We're gonna see the field possibly make up. No. So
Kilgore seems to be going slow through the gravel into the last turn.
Kilgore having some issues with his car, struggling. So that is it for Kilgore. Lost being lapped there. He's not going to be able to make any positions up, I think, with 40 seconds up to Potapenko. Ormas now, though, pull a 2.3 second gap down to third position. So even with the small mistakes he has been doing, I do not believe there's going to be a chance to catch up with him.
Unless he makes that small mistake with all the oversteers having lately.
If one of the oversteers will make him go off track, that's going to make him toast. But for now, he is pulling way fast. Doesn't seem like he's getting closer to Oscar, though.
No, Oscar just showing great pace throughout the entire race.
Yeah, Oscar, of course, not having to wear his tires out during to gain positions. But there's a Kilgore there off the track
And
again.
Irma's wide as well.
So two of them off. That's gonna be it for Irma. He's gonna drop positions down to fourth here.
You need to minimize the damage from behind because there's still a car coming with much more speed.
Yeah. So
But he
that
seems to have
is
covered it.
that and leader now as Oscar comes out to his final lap. We're gonna see these guys coming out to their final lap as that mistake was just what we were talking about from Urmas. The one that's just a little bit too big for him to handle. I still do believe he can get onto the podium though with this last lap.
You can see his car sliding throughout the first corners though. Maybe his tires are just too hot now.
They're gonna be too hot and too worn, yeah. R2 gonna be defending for his life though if Irma comes close. With Oscar now coming into the corkscrew for the last time. We're soon gonna have the finish of the race here into the last finishing corners. With a 17-second lead down to second position. Oscar has been dominating this first race up out to the start finish straight. A big applause to Oscar.
Irma's coming really close to P3 in the corkscrew on the braking, but can't quite seem to catch quite up.
As it goes a bit too much on the curb and he's off the track there again. So Ormes, just having 2 worn 10, will have to be satisfied with P4 for the first race. So nice close finisher between second and third between Martin and Arto, followed by Orma there. Orma who has been fighting this whole race and with a good position, I gotta say. Starting last, being bad in qualifying, that's a good finish position. As we see Kilgore and Nils fighting it out just on the start finish, and Kilgore actually gets that 9th position just before the finish line there. Very nice done by Kilgore. As we have some last finishing cars down by a fair bit. Here comes Jans down to the start finish straight, followed by Tim. Tim who finished far a bit behind. And that is race 1 for today. As we will take a short break between the 2 races here.
followed by Papateo. Maxi Junger behind him. Hughes, Wu in P6. Urmas in P7 could look challenging to the front. Neiman behind him. Martin and Oscar Williams rounding off the P10 as the lights come on.
And the revs start running. As we have 6 red lights. Off we go on the second race of today, with Nils having a shocker off the start, being overtaken by so many cars direct.
Kilgore still looking up front though, as we go 3 wide into the first corner. Bit of a touchy front.
Massive crash. Massive crash there seemed like by the guy spin out, as we have Urmas, Yap, Jan, Hughes, as well as Potapenko all in that first crash.
Oscar Williams alongside Maxi now just overtook him into turn 4.
Stroud is building a gap in front.
Bad exit for Maxi, because now has a car on his inside and outside, but seems to hold on to his position. There's a car going deep into the gravel there.
Tim off the track there, as it is very close at the start of this race. Kilgore's in the lead, followed by Oscar, Maxi, Arto Niminen, Wu. Start your top 5. As Maxi there goes off the track, and Oscar will be in the lead already on the first lap of the race.
As Kilgore's massive oversteer coming out of the last corner, almost collects 2 people coming to start again.
So coming on to the second lap, then Oscar in first, Maxi in second, Numinen in third, Wu, Fisher, Martin, Tantu, Reese, and Trout and Hughes for the top 10. As we go, if we look at Niels here, we're gonna see he's slowing up the pack a bunch with Martin Vanderland trying desperately to get past him here. So that was an exciting start, as we see Urma making up places as well. Ooh, as Tommy just goes a bit wide there and takes out Urma.
Martin going around the outside of Niels as well, but just lost it a bit in the gravel and lost some momentum.
As we see Urma, Tommy, and Hughes off in the 5th corner. And Urma and Yap both off as well, again in the 6th corner, standing. As you see, we have Yap again stuck in the gravel here. Just can't get the car moving.
Urma gets to see the car rolling again.
And Urma,
he seems to not be able to pull out of it.
As Oscar already has a 2-second lead to second position, which is Maxi. Maxi being pressured from behind by both Arto Niminen and Nick.
So you have Oscar Williams up in P1 again, just pulling a 2-second gap to Maxi.
And if we go down the field, we're gonna see her, Martin Vanderland, trying to pull a position on Niels, coming into the 6th corner, possibly up to the corkscrew. As Niels go a bit wide, they're both coming up to the corkscrew now.
Niels locking up a bit, taking the first corner a bit too sharp.
Martin here gonna really be pressuring him, trying to get that move done as quickly as possible. Don't want him to be holed up here.
Looking for a good exit to go into around the outside on the last turn.
Tries to switch back into the last corner. Seems like he made that stick pretty well. A bit slow on exit though, as it tucks into the slipstream. I should check to R2 here. R2 and Maxi fighting it out for 2nd position. Maxi closing the door a bit, and R2 just has to tuck in behind.
Maxi's looking to get these points after the last race.
After all the mishaps, he's gonna be pushing hard now. As we have a lot of close racing this time around. Followed for 4th position. Not very far behind, just 6/10 behind. So if these two guys get into much of a scrap, he's gonna be using that to his advantage.
R2 coming so close on the braking on the corkscrew.
Maxi defending very nicely though. As Oscar now already has pulled a 4-second lead. So 15 minutes to go. We have 3 cars out of the race. It's Ormaris, we have Yap, and we have 3 DNFs already so early into the race. Back up to 2nd and 3rd. Battle continues on. And I think with this battle, Nick is just going to be able to use that to his advantage and just inch closer lap by lap here.
Maxi really looking to get to retain his position.
So it's a battle, these 3 guys battling for 3rd. There is a small gap now though, which will make him possibly able to pull a bit more, but it seems like Maxi just doesn't have the braking really set into the corkscrew there. But a really nice exit though.
Does really seem to have that balance in the car down.
Yeah, but we see Arthur getting closer again. Braking a bit later. Maxi having a bit of better exit speed though. I know Maxi just talked about that before the race as well with us, that this track it's all about the exit speed, and he's really working that exit speed. So R2 gets close there into the first corner.
Just taking a little bit of a wider line to gain more exit speed.
Orba looking set here. Possibly he will be able to make a maneuver, but I think Maxi's gotta have to make a small mistake or miss something. Otherwise it will be very hard for R2 to pass.
Their pace is nearly identical at this time, so R2 is just looking to keep the pressure on Maxi and hope he makes a mistake.
Once again, Maxi has a nice exit out of the corkscrew there. But R2 just seems to have the braking set down a bit better, so they both have their pros and cons. And R2 here really into the last corner, he usually gets very close. He just needs to nail that exit and get really close into the slipstream.
As we have some traffic coming up in front of Maxi.
As we have Tommy Tantu seem to have making a mistake, dropping from 7th down to 9th. But the fight here for 2nd position keeps going on. I do believe R2 will try to make a move sooner or later. In the beginning, the first few corners or the last corners of the wrap. He slides wide.
Just ever so slightly wide and you lose so much speed through there. But just doesn't seem to be able to catch quite up to Maxi.
However, there is some traffic coming up to them who might come into play here. Of Potapenko. So hopefully for R2 he will be able to use that to some advantage to make a pass here.
As the blue flags are shown to Potapenko.
Potapenko is blocking a bit though, he's quickly jumping out to the side. R2 is now pretty close, but he just can't get close enough.
Just a little bit too far away for a really significant slipstream.
Jumping down into 8th position. We're checking Hughes here about to make an over. It seems like he's gonna make an overtake on Niels into the last corner of the track. Looking for the switch back. Slowly gonna make the overtake here on the start-finish straight.
It's fully alongside now. Just looking to go around the outside.
Can he make it stick? Yes, he can make it stick as he will get the inside for the next corner. Really nice overtake by Hughes there. Back into third, Arto is now getting really close to Maxi into the corkscrew. Only 3 tenths separate the two of them now, so into the last corners here, it's gonna be tight. As Kilgore pits.
R2 getting really close on the last corner now. He's right up behind Maxi.
He's gonna try to tuck into it. You can see Maxi trying to peel away to get it, make him lose the slipstream, but here it comes. Onto the outside.
Inside. Brakes just a little bit too early. But does seem to be able to hold
There's
the
contact. Small contact between the two of them. But a nice...
Max is just looking for that little bit of exit into the next corner.
R2 squeezes him.
So close.
Yeah, with a bit of squeeze of R2 there. And by this battle, you have Nick right on top of the both of them again. So this scrap between R2 and Maxi will make them lose so much time that Nick is right there and might be able to gain some progress on this fight. But there was a bit of argy-bargy, I must say, but a very nice overtake by R2 and then some argy-bargy with some squeezes and some contact between them. Overall, some very nice close racing.
Just falling a little bit behind R2, not quite finding the connection.
As Wu now inches closer to Maxi. Down into 9th, Hughes again must have made a mistake, now overtaking Nils again into the hair. Nils locking up and going very wide. And it seems like R2 now is actually pulling away from Maxi a little bit. Again, we have Oscar leading dominantly with 8 seconds in the lead. Which is surprising with a reverse grid order. He really was lucky on that first lap to get up.
Fastest lap time of 1:13.6. 6 tenths faster than P2 of R2.
And being by himself alone, he doesn't really have to worry too much. He can save his tire and just keep the pace up for the entirety of the race. As Maxi has made a few mistakes, he's been sliding a bit, and Nick is actually getting closer here into the last corner of the race. Of the start of the lap. But as we saw before, small mistakes here and there can make you cost, so between R2, Maxi and Nick, it's gonna be tight.
It's crucial to keep those tires within their operating temperatures, otherwise you're just gonna slide around in every corner.
Yeah, that's right. Keep them good and don't waste them too much, because with the wrong temperatures, you know, they will be worn out a lot quickly as well.
Seems to be that this track is pretty heavy on the tires once you start sliding that little bit too much.
Yeah, even though there's a lot of straights, all the straights seem to have corners in them, so you'll never really get that long, nice straight that you might want to cool it down.
R2, Maxi and Nick are not really pulling away from each other.
As Maxi and R2 actually sets almost identical lap time to the previous lap there. As R2 makes some mistakes, he's very wide. Maxi gaining a lot of time there.
This would allow Maxi back into the slipstream.
A little look down the field though. We have Nick in 4th, of course, then we have Martin Vanderland. We have Jan, Tommy, Hughes, Fisher, who's in the pit now. Potapenko and Trout. So Fisher in the pit, not sure if he's just changing his tires or if he's retiring. Oh no, just a change of tires, maybe a little bit of fuel, he's off again. So again, mistakes that Art made there, it will cost you a lot. One more of those and he might get out of a podium position.
With only 5 minutes remaining.
Maxi pushing the pressure on now.
Just a little bit too far away for a good slipstream. Does seem to be more brave on the brakes in turn 1.
He also got a lot nicer apex through that corner. It seems like R2 might have used up a lot of his tires. It seems like Maxi just have that extra grip, making it stick a little bit more.
Maxi now pulling away from Nick.
As there is an as Tommy did overtake Jan there, Jan going very slowly but getting back up the pace now it seems. Not
Maybe
entirely sure. Yeah.
Maxi having a better exit than R2 coming into the final corner now.
Having a look.
Looking.
I think Max should have just tucked in there and waited for a better exit. Now he lost it all on the exit instead. But it's still very tight. It's gonna be a race till the finish.
As we lose Hughes from the race.
So that's 4 cars out of the race. Hughes, Reese, Yap, and
Urmas.
Yeah, sorry. Max now putting pressure on R2 though. Just 3/10 behind.
With only 3 minutes remaining.
As R2 has another wiggle.
R2 really struggling to keep those tires cool enough.
With the pressure from Maxi behind, you can't really do anything to save those tires. You gotta keep pushing and pushing. Can't take the ideal lines or anything. Ooh, as he has another wiggle there. It's really tough for Art now, it seems like.
Maxi really gaining on him now.
As Max is gonna get the good straight line speed here, it seems like Art had another wiggle.
But Maxi's still not close enough for a good rundown on turn 1. As Maxi is starting to slide a little bit through turn 4.
As I'm looking down through the field on people like Potapenko, for example, it seems to be that most people are actually struggling with their tires. There's a lot of struggling going all around. Sliding through the corners and lockups and so on. So just as you said earlier, it's a very tire-heavy track, it seems like.
Maxi having quite a bit of oversteer coming out of the corkscrew. He's putting that little bit too much power down.
With around 1.5 minutes to go, it's hard to say how this will end. Maxi having some wheel spin there, not getting good traction on the exit up the corner. It seems like R2 is building a little more bit of a gap again. Something to mention though is Nick quickly falling behind, now 2 seconds behind as he was just up. So that fighting they had going on before really helped Nick out.
Maxi gets close enough, Nick might have a chance, but there's only a couple more laps, so it would have to happen soon.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of traffic up ahead of Niels Fischer.
I do believe that Oscar will be coming out to his last lap here in about a few seconds. So there is one lap remaining. After the current one, of course. And there we go. On to the last lap. And Max is getting very close now to Ardu, so it's gonna be all or nothing this last lap. As the rest of the field is really spread out.
Max just needs to find a little bit more.
Yeah,
And a
R2
little
going
mistake
wide
from
there.
Arthur.
Ooh, and R2 is sliding. Maxi having to avoid slowing him down as well. Side by side on the contact, and R2 is off.
Arthur falls at least back to P4.
Down to P5 as well, but that was R2. R2 sliding us, I believe, and R2's mistake. I think the blood pressure for both of them was just running so high.
As Oscar Williams is coming up to the last corner now.
And again, Oscar now winning with a 15-second gap down to second position. A big congratulations.
Absolutely dominant from him.
As R2 has also DNF'd now. Very sad to see R2 go from second place to a DNF, not being able to finish this race on the last lap there. So we have Max in second. And 1-2 for Vermin Racing. As Nick, who must be very happy, finished on the podium in third position. After that we have Vanteland, Martin Vanteland, Tommy with a big wiggle on the exit of the last corner there.
Can barely hold on.
That finishes in fifth position, followed by Jans van Dijk. So we have Patapenko, who's a lap down or more, in ninth position, finishing just in front of him. Sad to see R2 there, having a DNF, not being able to finish the last lap. As there has been a crash. Oh, sorry. That is my mistake. Yeah, that was all the drivers and all racing for today over. Yeah. And for that, we say thank you, and thank you, Wolf, for your company.
Yeah, no problem.
And wish you all a good night.